something like 1% of clinics have ever published a paper on what they do, maybe less. Yeah, that's a great question. If we're trying to treat something like dementia, we have to get more creative. Yes, I often get asked this question. Paul Knoepfler, a professor at UC Davis School of Medicine and a stem cell and cancer researcher. One sort of defining feature of a clinical trial is that the FDA here in the US and other regulators in other countries require a certain amount of solid data before you even do a clinical trial. And what we see at for-profit clinics is that they often have not done that kind of work in advance. They have relatively little data. So one key difference is a lack of preclinical data at the clinics that are selling stem cells, say down the street at a strip mall or in other places. The clinics are for profit, and so I think another key difference is that the clinics charge a certain amount to make a certain amount of profit, and most universities are not really interested in that level of things, especially at the clinical trial phase. The trials, what they're calling trials, are not blinded typically. They're not randomized. So even when a clinic is calling something a clinical trial, it's not really a clinical trial. Another really important difference is that biotechs and universities will publish their work. In both cases, they want to get like peer review, get things out there. It's an important thing to do. Whereas the clinics that are just injecting anyone who comes in from the public, they don't really publish their work for the most part, I think. Finally, I guess another important point is that when universities and biotechs are running clinical trials, if something goes wrong, they report that. They have to do that. They're very careful about that. There are different regulations about that in various countries. Whereas clinics, what we found over the years is that oftentimes we never even hear when something goes wrong at a clinic, and we only hear about it if the patient reaches out to us or somehow it makes a story in the news.